"Who the hell is that girl sitting with you, Gideon?" That's what my wife screamed the moment she barged into our dining room, ready to accuse me of the very thing she'd been doing behind my back. Candles lit, 2 wine glasses, me sitting close to another woman. But Lauren's fury didn't last long. It died the second she realized who was at my table. Her younger sister, Hannah Pierce. The same Hannah she'd been using as her Tuesday and Thursday night alibi for 6 damn months. Hannah raised her glass, cool as a winter morning. "Evening, Lauren. How was Travis tonight?" And right there, my marriage split open. If you've ever taken a gut punch you never saw coming, stick around. Hit subscribe. You'll want to hear how this all started. A couple hours before that scene in the dining room, it was just me, a humming microwave, and a plastic tray of fake food. Salisbury steak, mashed potatoes, green beans. The kind of dinner a man eats when he's exhausted, married, and weirdly still alone. I peeled the film back, took a bite, tasted like cardboard and bad choices. 40-something years old, busting my ass to keep a roof over our heads, and my wife is out with family while I'm chewing on this prison food. My phone buzzed on the table. "At Hannah's. Don't wait up. Love you." Same line, same nights. Tuesdays and Thursdays had turned into her Hannah nights. Most times I swallowed it. Told myself I was being insecure. That's what nice husbands do, right? We gaslight ourselves so they don't have to. But that night something in my gut finally said, enough. I stared at the message and typed back, "Too busy tonight too. Having dinner with someone important." Sent. 30 seconds later, "Who?" For the first time in weeks, I actually smirked. I put the fork down, wiped my hands, scrolled to Hannah Pierce, and hit call. Hannah picked up on the second ring. "Hey, Gideon, everything okay?" Her voice was light, normal. Mine wasn't. "Yeah, no. I need you to be straight with me," I said. No jokes, no sugarcoating. That wiped the smile right out of her tone. "Okay. What's going on?" "Lauren just texted me," I said. "Said she's at your place. Again. You know, Tuesday night, staying with Hannah, like always." Silence. Not static, not bad signal. The kind of silence where truth is fighting its way out. "Hannah?" I pushed. "When was the last time she was actually there?" Forks clinked in the background. A fridge door shut. I could almost hear her swallow. "Gideon, Lauren hasn't been to my apartment in, 6 months?" she said quietly. "Not since we argued about Mom's ring. I thought you knew that." 6 months. Every late night with my sister. Every family thing, don't wait up. It hit me like a gut punch. She wasn't just cheating time, she was burning my trust in her family to do it. "Hannah," I said, voice flat. "She's been using your name twice a week." "Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I had no idea." "I'm done feeling crazy," I cut in. "I don't just want to catch a lie. I want to catch everything." I took a breath. "I need your help." Hannah showed up at my place less than 20 minutes after that call, still in her work clothes, hair pulled back, a bottle of red hanging from her hand. She looked different than I'd ever seen her. No friendly small talk, no nervous jokes, just this sharp, focused calm, like she'd already had the argument in her head 100 times. "I didn't want to do this over the phone," she said, stepping into the kitchen. "You should see it for yourself." She set the wine down, reached into her bag, and pulled out a fat manila envelope. My stomach tightened. She slid it across the table. "I hired a PI 3 weeks ago, after I realized she was using my name." I opened it, and my whole world tilted. Prairie View Motel, off the highway. Lauren's SUV parked out front. Lauren walking into a room with Travis Dalton. Different nights, different outfits, same 2 people. Behind the photos were printed receipts, room charges, dinners, that real estate conference in Chicago. I spread the pictures out, and there it was in full color. Lauren, my wife of 15 years, kissing Travis like he was her whole future. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I don't know how long I just stood there, staring at those photos. Part of me wanted to throw up. Part of me wanted to punch through a wall. Hannah poured 2 glasses of wine, pushed one toward me. "I was going to confront her myself," she said, voice tight. But this might be better. I picked up the glass, set it back down untouched. Better how? I asked. We catch her in her own story, Hannah said. You call her, from your phone. I'll do the talking. We sat at the table, the evidence of her affair spread out between us, and started planning. From my phone, Hannah would be the one to say the words Lauren could never ignore. It's about Mom. I need you. Come over now. We moved to the dining room. Hannah lit a couple of candles. I grabbed 2 wine glasses, set them close together on one side of the table. To anybody walking in, it would look like a date. To Lauren, it would look like the mirror she'd been avoiding. Hannah checked the time. She'll say 20 minutes, she murmured. Then she gave me a hard little smile. I bet she makes it in 15. 14 minutes later, the front door flew open so hard it hit the stopper. Gideon? Hannah? Lauren's voice carried down the hall, sharp and breathless. She stepped into the dining room and stopped dead. She was dressed nice, too nice for a night at Hannah's. Fresh makeup, hair done, new blouse I'd never seen before. Her eyes bounced from the candles, to the wine bottle, to the 2 glasses set close together, to me sitting at the table. Then she saw Hannah. Her face twisted. Who the hell is she? She snapped at me, like she didn't recognize her own sister sitting 10 feet away. I didn't answer. I just watched. Lauren's brain fought to make it make sense. Why was Hannah here? Why were we sitting like this? Why did this room look exactly like the scene she'd been hiding in with Travis? Hannah didn't even blink. She sat there, back straight, one hand on the stem of her glass. Evening, Lauren, she said, voice flat as a judge's verdict. The air in that room turned to stone. Lauren recovered fast. She always did. What is this? She snapped. Some sick joke? Are you too serious right now? She tried to go on the offensive. Classic move. You think this is funny, Gideon? Trying to make me jealous? Sitting here with my baby sister like... I slid the first photo across the table. Prairie View Motel. Her car. She froze mid-sentence. Another photo. Different night. Same motel. Lauren and Travis going into a room together. What is this? She whispered. You tell me, I said. I laid out more. Her and Travis at Rusty Fork Steakhouse, holding hands across the table. Outside his truck, kissing in the parking lot. And then Chicago. Her in a red dress I'd never seen, walking into a downtown hotel with him during that conference. Her eyes darted over the dates printed on the bottom of each shot. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Chicago weekend. All the nights she'd been with Hannah. I looked her straight in the eye. Prairie View Motel, Rusty Fork, Chicago, should I keep going? Right when I said it, her phone started buzzing on the table. The name lit up for half a second before she flipped it face down, but I caught it. Travis. Of course. She wouldn't look at me, wouldn't look at Hannah, just stared at the photos like they might rearrange themselves into something less ugly. Gideon, I can explain. No, I cut her off. You've been explaining for 6 months. Late nights, sister stuff, work thing. That's what your explanations bought you. I made a mistake, she said, voice shaking. We can fix this, we can... Stop, I said. We're not doing the we thing right now. She finally looked at me then. Really looked. Maybe for the first time in years. There's a line you don't cross, Lauren. You didn't just step over it, you ran laps on the other side and dragged your sister into it. Her phone buzzed again between us. I tapped the envelope of pictures with my finger. Tomorrow morning, I said, calm as I could manage, you call a lawyer. She blinked, stunned. We're getting divorced. The next morning I was sitting in a leather chair that wasn't mine, in an office that smelled like coffee and printer ink, across from a woman who'd seen 1,000 marriages die. Nameplate on her desk, Evelyn Clark, Family Law. She leafed through the file Hannah and I had put together. Photos, receipts, timeline. Quite a record, she said, eyebrows raised just a touch. You did your homework, Mr. Brooks. I didn't want to, I muttered. But here we are. She set the file down and folded her hands. All right. Before we talk strategy, I need one thing from you. What's that? What do you want out of this? She asked. Not feelings, terms, house, business, support. Give it to me straight. I thought about it. About the nights alone. About the microwave dinners. About my name on the loan papers. I want consequences, I said. I want my house. I want my business protected. I'm not looking to ruin her, but I'm done getting screwed over. A small, almost satisfied smile tugged at Evelyn's mouth. Good, she said. Adultery still matters in this state. We can use that. We'll protect your house and your livelihood. She doesn't get to burn your life down for free. Going home after that meeting with Evelyn felt strange. Same driveway, same mailbox, same front door, different man walking through it. I grabbed boxes from the garage and started packing Lauren's things. Not trashing, just folding, stacking, taping. 15 years of her life going into cardboard. Her blouses, dresses I'd never seen her wear around me, shoes that cost more than my first truck payment, all going into neat little rows. About an hour in, there was a knock on the door. Hannah stepped in holding a paper bag and 2 to-go cups. Figured you haven't eaten, she said. Turkey sandwich, black coffee. We sat on the bedroom floor, backs against opposite walls, a half-packed closet between us. Why are you really helping me, Hannah? I finally asked. She's your sister. She folded one of Lauren's sweaters with more force than needed. Because I'm tired of watching you get walked on, she said. Family or not. I looked over at her. I'm done watching you be the damn doormat, Gideon. For the first time in a long time, it felt like somebody was standing next to me, not on me. We were sealing up the third box when my phone lit up on the nightstand. Lauren. I let it ring once, twice, then picked up. What do you want, Lauren? We need to talk, she said quickly. Not like last night, just you and me, alone. There's nothing left to say that needs to be said in the dark, I replied. We can go to counseling, she pushed. People work through this. We can fix our marriage if you just meet me halfway. I looked at the rows of taped boxes, at the empty hangers, at the outline of dust where her jewelry box used to sit. I'm packing your things, I said. They'll be in the garage. You can pick them up whenever. You can't just throw away 15 years, Gideon, she snapped, anger creeping back in. You don't get to do that. I let out a breath I'd been holding for half a year. I'm not throwing 15 years away, I said quietly. You already did that. I'm just finally admitting it. She went silent. I ended the call, turned the phone face down, and reached for the next box. It didn't take long for the other shoe to drop. 2 days after that call with Lauren, my phone rang again. Unknown number, local area code. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something in me said answer. Gideon Brooks, I said. There was a pause, then a man cleared his throat. Gideon, it's Travis. Travis Dalton. Mind if we talk? Man to man. I actually laughed. Pretty big word for you to use. Man. But go ahead. I get that you're upset, he started, all smooth and salesy. Lauren told me what happened. Look, we didn't mean for it to come out this way, but this is real. We're serious about each other. Congratulations, I said flatly. You want a gift registry or just cash? He bristled. You can insult me if it makes you feel better, but she loves me. We're going to build a life together. Let me explain something to you, Travis, I said. A woman who cheats on her husband will cheat on her boyfriend. A woman who lies to her family will lie to you. He went quiet. You think you won some prize, I added. All you did was volunteer to be next in line. And then I hung up. A day or two after that, Hannah texted me while I was fixing a leaky sink for a client. Call me when you get a second. It's about Travis's wife. I finished the job, sat in my truck, and hit call. Hannah picked up on the first ring. Okay, she said, no hello. This just got more interesting. Marianne Dalton wants to meet you. Travis's wife? I asked. Yep, legally anyway, Hannah said. She's the principal over at Springfield Central High. I leaned back in the seat. What does she want with me? She's known about his cheating for a long time, Hannah said. What she didn't have was proof. Now she does. And apparently she's got, how did she put it, useful information about where his money actually comes from. Intel, I repeated. Exactly. She thinks you and she might have a common enemy. We picked a neutral spot, Maple and Main Coffee House downtown, public, quiet, nobody's home turf. As I hung up, one thought settled in. This wasn't just about a broken marriage anymore. This was about money, lies, and the kind of trouble the IRS doesn't joke about. Maple and Main was half full when we walked in. Teachers grading papers, a couple of moms with strollers, a guy in a ball cap staring at his laptop like it owed him money. Hannah spotted her first. "That's Marianne," she murmured. I'd expected someone small, beaten down. Instead, Marianne Dalton sat in the corner like she owned the place. Tall, posture straight, coffee in front of her, no fidgeting, just steady. "Mr. Brooks," she said when we reached the table, standing to shake my hand. Grip firm, eyes clear. "Gideon, thank you for coming." We sat. No small talk. "I won't waste your time," she said, pulling a tablet from her bag. She opened a spreadsheet that made my head swim. Rows, columns, numbers in neat lines. "Travis tells people he makes about $250 a year at Red River Properties," she said. "Our tax returns say otherwise." She tapped a few cells. "This is what he reports. This is what actually hits our accounts." The difference was ugly. "He's been hiding income for years," she said calmly. "And before you ask, yes." She looked me straight in the eye. "I've already talked to the IRS." I just stared at the screen. Columns of dates, deposits, consulting fees, marketing reimbursements, all the creative little labels a man uses when he doesn't want Uncle Sam asking too many questions. "Unreported cash," Marianne said. "Off-the-books commissions, side deals. He runs almost a second business in cash so he can spend without me, or the government, seeing the full picture." She swiped to a new tab. Prairie View motel charges, Rusty Fork Steakhouse, jewelry stores, flights, the Chicago hotel. "You recognize any of these?" she asked, even though we both knew the answer. My jaw tightened. Every line item was another night Lauren told me she was at her sister's, and another night Travis was using dirty money to wine and dine my wife. Marianne didn't sugarcoat it. "He's been funding his affairs with money he never reports," she said. "That's tax evasion. The IRS takes that personally." I glanced at Hannah. She had that same sharp little half smile again. "Why are you telling us this?" I asked. "Because," Marianne said, sitting back, "federal trouble is no joke. And if Travis and Lauren wanted to blow up 2 marriages, they can both live with the fallout." I thought that was the end of her surprises. It wasn't. "There's one more piece you should know," Marianne said, flipping to a different folder. Her voice didn't change, but something in her eyes hardened. "Travis never finalized his first divorce." I frowned. "What do you mean?" "I mean," she said, enunciating every word, "he is still legally married to wife number 1. They separated 8 years ago. Papers were filed. Nothing was ever completed. No judge's signature. No decree." I stared at her. "So you're saying, I'm saying my marriage to him?" She gave a humorless smile. "Technically never existed. I've been playing house with a man who was never actually free to marry me." The room felt smaller. "And Lauren?" I asked, already knowing I wouldn't like the answer. "Lauren," Marianne said, "is planning her future with a man who's still tied to his first wife and never validly married to his second. She's not the next chapter. She's just the next in line." She held my gaze. "He's still legally married to wife number 1, Gideon. That's who your wife blew up your life for." For a second, I couldn't even speak. All that betrayal. For this clown. We sat there in silence for a moment, the weight of it all pressing in. "So what now?" I finally asked. "You've gone to the IRS. You've got proof. He's a cheat on every level. What's the play?" Marianne didn't hesitate. "IRS criminal investigation already has everything," she said. "Bank records, tax returns, my notes. They're building their case. When they move, they'll move fast." Hannah leaned forward. "Does Lauren know any of this?" Marianne shook her head. "Far as I can tell, she thinks she's trading up. New man, new life, new money." Hannah snorted softly. "Some upgrade." Marianne looked between us. "My suggestion? You don't warn them. Let them think they're winning." "Is that fair?" I asked. She raised an eyebrow. Was cheating on you fair? Was using Hannah as an alibi fair? Consequences don't need to feel fair, Gideon. They just need to land. We agreed to keep quiet, to document everything, to stay out of the way while the big dogs did their work. As we stood to leave, Marianne summed it up in one sentence. Let them think they're winning until the floor drops. The hammer finally dropped on a Monday. I was halfway through my first cup of coffee when my phone buzzed. Marianne. They're doing it, she said. Search warrants, office and home, turn on Channel 9. I grabbed the remote, thumbed the TV on, and there it was, live footage from outside Red River Properties. News vans, flashing lights, agents in jackets with big yellow letters across the back. And right in the middle of it, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him, was Travis Dalton in a suit that suddenly didn't fit so well, hands cuffed behind his back. The reporter's voice cut through the living room. Local real estate broker Travis Dalton is in federal custody this morning, facing allegations of tax evasion, fraud, and failure to report over $300,000 of income over several years. They panned to the logo on the glass doors. Red River Properties, shiny sign, big letters, all of it now just a backdrop for a perp walk. I just stood there, coffee cooling in my hand. Lauren had burned 15 years of marriage, for a man whose kingdom was turning to ash on live TV. It didn't take long for my phone to ring again. Lauren. I let it buzz twice, then picked up. What? Her voice was high and ragged. Gideon, something's happened. I saw, I said. Channel 9. Nice choice. This isn't funny, she snapped, panic bleeding through. The FBI showed up at Travis's office and his condo. They took his computers, his files. Gideon, they want to talk to me. I said nothing. They said my name, she rushed on. They know about the trips, the hotels, and my bank app. My accounts are frozen. I can't pull anything out. I can't even pay my rent. Sounds like a mess, I said. I need help, she whispered. Tell me what to do. Call someone. You know people. Please. Yeah, I said. They're called lawyers. Silence. Gideon, I'm serious. I'm scared. So am I answered. But I'm not scared for you anymore. I'm scared of going back to being the guy who fixes everything while you burn it down. I took a breath. I'm not your safety net anymore, Lauren. You jumped. You figure out how to land. After I hung up, the house went quiet again. It's funny how fast rage fades and the old feelings sneak back in. 15 years doesn't just evaporate because you finally grow a spine. I walked past the stack of boxes in the hallway, her clothes, her books, picture frames wrapped in newspaper. I knew what was inside most of them. Vacations, birthdays, fights we swore we'd never bring up again. Part of me still loved the woman I thought I married. That version of Lauren, the one before the late nights and lies, she was real once. I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss her. My phone buzzed. Hannah. You okay? She asked. No, I said. But I'm not falling apart either. She was quiet a second. Feels like she's trying to pull you back in, doesn't it? Yeah. Then remember this, Hannah said. You finally stood your ground. Don't step back over the line now. I looked at the boxes, at the empty spaces on the walls. I'm choosing peace of mind over lies, I said, and for the first time, I believed myself. News travels fast in a town like Springfield. By midweek, my name and Lauren's were floating around every grocery aisle and break room. The guy at the hardware store gave me that look, half pity, half curiosity. Marlene from next door just happened to be outside watering her plants every time I pulled into the driveway. You holding up okay, Gideon? She asked one afternoon, voice soft, eyes sharp. I'm managing, I said. Got work, got coffee, that's enough. I knew what she really wanted. Details, confirmation, gossip with receipts. I didn't give her any. I kept my answers short, my tone even. No trash talking. No telling the whole neighborhood how my wife torched our marriage for a tax cheat in a cheap motel. My business has my name on it. Brooks Home Repair. That matters in a place where people either trust you in their house or they don't. That night, I deleted my social media apps. No more scrolling, no more fishing for sympathy, no more defending myself to strangers. My reputation is mine to protect. I wasn't going to let her mess become my brand. A week later, I was back in Evelyn Clark's office, watching her draw clean lines through what used to be my life. She slid a printed spreadsheet across the desk. Here's where we stand, Gideon. On one side, the house, my truck, my business assets. On the other, joint accounts, her car, retirement funds. I'm fighting to keep the house under your column, she said. You've put most of the sweat and money into it, plus your business runs out of that garage. That's your livelihood. And Lauren? I asked. She'll get what the court says she's entitled to, Evelyn replied, but we're not giving her a penny more out of guilt. We went over every line, tools I bought, contracts in my name, debts, equity, no drama, no yelling, just math and law. When we go in front of the judge, she said finally, we go clean, we go firm, no games. You're the guy who got cheated on, not the guy who burned it all down. For the first time, it felt like someone with power was actually on my side. That afternoon, my phone buzzed with another unknown number from the jail's exchange. I let it ring, then picked up. Brooks. There was a crackle, then a voice I recognized, thinner now. Gideon, it's Travis. I almost hung up. Didn't. What do you want? I just wanted to talk, he said. Clear the air. Maybe work something out. Nothing left to work out. Look, he rushed on. I know things look bad, but I never meant for you to get hurt. I can make it right, financially. I've got assets, offshore stuff. I can... There it is, I cut in. The same dirty money that got you here, right? He went silent. I don't want your hush money, Travis. This doesn't have to get uglier, he said, a little edge slipping in. You start talking to people, it makes things harder, for everyone. I glanced at the recording icon on my phone. I'd hit it the second I heard his name. This call is documented, I said evenly. We're done here. And I ended it, saved the file, and emailed it straight to Evelyn. A few days later, Marianne called and asked if Hannah and I could meet her downtown again, this time not at a coffee shop. We ended up in a bland federal building, all gray walls and bad lighting. Marianne walked in carrying a thick accordion folder instead of her usual tablet. This is everything, she said quietly. Bank statements, transaction histories, gift receipts, emails from his work account. They wanted it printed. She opened the folder on the table. There were highlighted bank transfers, cash deposits that didn't match his reported income, and a whole stretch of charges that made my stomach twist. Hotel bills, restaurant tabs, jewelry receipts, all tied to dates I knew too well. Those, she said, tapping a stack of papers, are purchases connected to Lauren. Hotels, trips, that necklace she wears. I didn't say anything. 2 agents from IRS Criminal Investigation walked in, introduced themselves, and started going through the files. No small talk, no drama, just pages turning, pens moving. After about 20 minutes, one of them set his pen down, looked up and said, "This is substantial, Mrs. Dalton. Thank you." For the first time, it felt like justice wasn't just an idea. It had teeth. When the feds move, they don't move quietly. Lauren called me the morning after her interview. They brought me into a room, she said, voice shaking. 2 agents. My name on a folder. They know everything, Gideon. The trips, the dinners, the money he spent on me. I leaned against the counter, phone to my ear, staring out the kitchen window at my half-mowed lawn. They think I was in on it, she went on, that I knew about the taxes, the fake expenses. They kept asking the same questions over and over. Did you ever ask where the money came from? Did you? I asked. Silence. I didn't want to know, she whispered. I liked how it felt. Someone finally treating me special. There it was, the truth under all the mess. What am I supposed to do? She asked. Please, tell me what to say. I don't want to go to prison. Get a lawyer, I said. And when you're in that room, tell them what you know. I paused. And what you chose not to know. On the other end of the line, she started to cry. Not the manipulative kind, the raw kind, but I didn't rescue her from it. A couple days after that, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It wasn't the jail this time. It was a law office. "Mr. Brooks, this is Daniel Hart. I represent your wife, Lauren." I stayed quiet, let him talk. "We understand you've been cooperative in the divorce process," he said smoothly. "Given the ongoing federal investigation, Lauren could really benefit from a character reference. Someone who can testify she's not the kind of person who would knowingly be involved in criminal activity." There it was. "You want me to tell the government my wife has good character?" I said slowly. "In essence, yes. You were married 15 years. You know her better than anyone." I looked around my empty kitchen, thought about the motel photos, the lies, the way she'd used her sister's name like a hall pass. "Here's the problem, Mr. Hart," I said. "I don't know her better than anyone. That's the point. I don't know who she is anymore." He hesitated. "So you're refusing?" "I'm saying I can't vouch for what I don't recognize." I kept my tone polite. Then I ended the call. That night, sleep didn't come easy. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling fan, listening to it click every third rotation, mind running laps around the last 15 years. There were good times. I won't lie. Sunday mornings with pancakes and bad coffee. Road trips in the old Chevy. Nights when we were broke but still laughing on the couch, arguing over what show to watch. Those memories don't disappear just because the ending was ugly. They sit there, tugging on your sleeve, whispering, "Maybe you're being too harsh. Maybe you owe her one last lifeline." Guilt is sneaky like that. Around midnight, my phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from Hannah. "Don't backslide. You've come too far. Simple. No emojis, no lecture." I stared at those 2 words for a long time. She was right. I'd spent years bending over backwards to keep everyone else comfortable. Where had that gotten me? I set the phone down, let out a slow breath. For the first time in a long time, I didn't ask, "Am I being a good husband?" I asked, "Am I finally respecting myself again?" A few days later, Lauren texted and asked to meet somewhere neutral. We ended up at a diner off the highway, the kind with cracked vinyl booths and coffee that never tastes fresh. She looked rough, not put together like before. Tired eyes, hair pulled back like she'd given up trying. "Thank you for coming," she started. "I'm not here to fight," I said. "Say what you need to say." She wrapped her hands around the mug like she needed it to stay upright. "I didn't wake up one day and decide to blow up our marriage, Gideon," she said. "It was slow. I felt invisible. We stopped talking about anything real. You came home tired. I went to bed lonely. Travis made me feel seen." I let that sit for a second, because some of it was true. Our marriage had been limping long before the affair. "You're right," I said quietly. "We let things slide. We got lazy. We stopped choosing each other." Her eyes filled. "So you understand?" "I understand the reasons," I said. "But reasons aren't excuses, Lauren. You still chose the worst possible way to deal with it." And that was the line I wouldn't cross with her. She stared at me across the table, eyes red. "I'm not asking you to take me back," she said. "I know that's gone. I need your help. With the feds, with court. Just tell them I'm not a criminal. Tell them I'm a good person who made bad choices." I shook my head slowly. "I can't be that for you." "Why not?" she snapped, frustration bubbling up. 15 years, Gideon. I stood by you when your business almost went under. I backed you when you wanted to go out on your own. Don't I deserve something back?" "You deserved honesty," I said. "You deserved a man who showed up. And I did that. Every day. I didn't step out on you when I was lonely." She flinched. "So that's it?" she asked. "You're just going to sit there and watch me drown?" I pushed my coffee away and stood up. "I'm not watching you drown," I said. "I'm just finally letting you feel the water you walked into." She shook her head. "You've turned cold." "No," I said. "I just won't burn to keep you warm anymore." Then I paid my check and left her sitting there with her cooling coffee and all the choices that led her there. Word gets around. even about things that are supposed to be sealed. Hannah called me one afternoon. "Marianne just talked to her lawyer," she said. "There's talk of a plea deal on the table for Travis." I was tightening a pipe under somebody's sink when she said it. My wrench stopped mid-turn. "What kind of deal?" I asked. "The kind where he sings," she said. "He gives them everything, names, patterns, who knew what, so he shaves time off his sentence." My first thought was Lauren. My second thought was Lauren too. "You think he'll try to drag her down with him?" I asked. "Probably," Hannah said. "A guy like that? He'll point at anyone but himself." That night I called Evelyn and laid it all out. "Yeah, we heard the same rumors," she said. "Look, a man who's already admitted to lying on federal documents for years is not exactly a star witness." "So you're not worried?" I asked. "I'm not saying ignore it," she replied, "but his word isn't worth much now. If he starts throwing Lauren's name around without proof, it'll look like what it is: desperation." For once, that actually calmed me down. Still, knowing something in your head and feeling it in your chest are two different things. That night, the house felt especially empty. No TV on, no dishes in the sink, just the low hum of the AC kicking on and off. I sat at the kitchen table with a legal pad and wrote 3 words at the top in block letters: "Don't cave again." Underneath that, I made a list. Times I'd looked the other way. Times I'd talked myself out of my own gut feeling. All the little moments that added up to this big one. Then I went to the hallway closet and pulled down the old wedding album. Dust came off the cover when I opened it. We looked like kids in those photos. Hopeful, clueless kids. I flipped to the one everyone frames. The 2 of us at the altar, her in white, me in a suit that didn't quite fit, both of us smiling like forever was guaranteed. My hands shook a little as I slid the picture out of the frame. I didn't smash it, didn't rip it up in some dramatic rage. I tore it clean down the middle, laid the pieces aside, and put the empty frame back on the shelf. Some things you keep the shape of, just to remind yourself what not to step into blindly again. The call from Evelyn came on a Thursday afternoon while I was loading tools into the truck. "Got an update for you," she said, "on the federal side." My stomach did that little drop it does now whenever a lawyer calls. "I spoke with the U.S. Attorney's Office," she went on. "They don't have enough to show Lauren knew about the tax fraud. No emails, no texts, nothing tying her to the money side. She's been answering their questions, cooperating. As of right now," she paused, "no charges, for now." I leaned against the tailgate and let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. "So she's in the clear?" I asked. "Legally, most likely," Evelyn said. "Reputation-wise, different story, but from what I'm hearing, she's not going to prison." I didn't feel joy. No secret celebration, just a kind of tired relief. "I never wanted her locked up," I admitted. "I just wanted the truth to cost her something." "It already has," Evelyn said. "You, the marriage, her standing in town, that's not nothing." After we hung up, I stood there a minute longer, staring at the neat rows of tools in the truck bed. Light, but not happy. Just lighter than before. The day we signed the divorce papers was weirdly normal. Clear sky, busy courthouse, people arguing about parking. Evelyn and I sat at one side of a long table. Lauren and her lawyer sat at the other. No yelling, no crying, just pages and pens. I initialed where they told me to initial, signed where they told me to sign. Property division, support terms, all the legal language that turns a life into paragraphs. The house stayed with me. Brooke's home repair stayed mine, every tool and contract. She got her car, a fair slice of the savings, what the law said she was owed. No more, no less. At one point, our eyes met across the table. There was a lot in that look, 15 years worth. Good, bad, and everything between, but nothing that changed what needed to be done. When we were finished, the clerk gathered the stack of papers, flipped through to make sure everything was in order, and stamped the top sheet. The sound of that stamp hitting paper was louder than it should have been. Finalized. That was it. No confetti, no music. Just a word on a page that meant my marriage was officially over. And my life, for better or worse, was officially mine again. A week after the papers were stamped, Lauren showed up at the house one last time. No warning, just a knock, then her on my porch with a duffel bag and hollow eyes. "Gideon, can we talk?" she asked. I stepped outside and pulled the door mostly shut behind me. Old habit. Protect what's inside. "I don't have anywhere to go," she said. "My parents can only take me for a few days. I can't afford a decent place yet. Can I stay here for a while, just until things calm down?" I shook my head. "No." She blinked like I'd slapped her. "Not even on the couch? In the spare room? I won't bother you." "Your things are in the garage," I said. "Like I told you. That's as far as you go." Her jaw tightened. "I still owe my lawyer. They want another retainer. I'm drowning here, Gideon. You could at least help with that." "I'm not your husband anymore," I said quietly. "And this roof is for peace, not lies." Her eyes flashed hurt and anger, but I didn't move. "The garage is open," I added. "Grab what's yours." Then I stepped back inside and closed the door. This time I locked it for me, not against her. A few days later, Channel 9 ran a longer piece on Travis's case during the evening news. I was eating dinner, real food this time, not microwave, when his face popped up on the screen again. Same man, different expression. This time, he wasn't just being let out of an office, he was standing in court. The reporter's voice laid it all out. Local broker Travis Dalton has accepted a plea agreement on multiple counts of tax evasion and wire fraud. As part of the deal, federal authorities have seized several assets, including vehicles, investment accounts, and a lake house in Branson. They showed footage of agents loading boxes into vans, a seized by U.S. government notice slapped on the door of what used to be his pride and joy. My phone buzzed with a text from Hannah. "Turn on Channel 9 if you're not watching already." A moment later, another text from Marianne. "It's not joy, but it's something." They cut back to the anchor. "Actions," I said out loud, finishing the sentence in my living room. "Consequences." 2 words. Clean, heavy, no champagne, no high fives. Just the quiet satisfaction of watching a man finally pay full price for what he took. After the dust settled, the court dates, the news cycles, the phone calls, what I was left with was a house that finally felt like mine, and a mess that still looked like ours. So I started cleaning. Not angry cleaning, just steady, room by room. I pulled old junk out of closets, tossed broken things I'd kept just in case, stacked donation boxes by the front door. It's funny how much clutter you collect while you're busy ignoring your own life. In the hallway, I found that empty wedding frame again, just the glass, no picture, sitting where I'd put it back. I wiped it down and hung it on a different wall. No photo inside. Just the frame, clean and blank. A reminder that not every empty space has to be filled right away. That night, I cooked myself a proper dinner. Nothing fancy, steak, potatoes, green beans that hadn't seen a freezer. I sat at the table alone, no TV, no phone in my hand. Just the sound of my own fork on a real plate. Silence used to feel heavy. Now it felt priceless. A couple evenings later, as I was closing up the shop, my phone buzzed. "Hannah. Dinner? My treat. No legal talk, I promise." I smiled a little and texted back, "Sure, as long as you stop working pro bono." She replied almost instantly. Good. I was about to start charging consulting fees for emotional backbone training. For the first time in a long time, I laughed out loud. Not the bitter kind, the real kind that sneaks up on you. We met at a little barbecue place on the edge of town. Nothing romantic, just 2 people who'd been through the same explosion, sitting across from each other with pulled pork and sweet tea. At one point, she raised her glass. "To new beginnings?" I offered. She shook her head. "No," she said. "To you finally growing a spine. We celebrate that, not her downfall." I nodded. Fair enough. We didn't make promises, didn't flirt our way into something messy. We just talked. About work, about her law classes, about my new contracts, clear lines, no rush. For once, that was enough. If you've made it this far with me, let me talk to you man to man for a minute. I'm not telling you this story so you can hate my ex-wife or cheer at some guy in handcuffs on TV. I'm telling you because I spent years ignoring my gut, letting my own house turn into a place where I couldn't sleep in peace under the roof I was busting my back to pay for. A man's got a few basic things he needs: food on the table, a roof he can trust over his head, and people inside that roof who aren't using his name and his paycheck while they lie to his face. I worked hard for what I had: hard-earned money, long days, sore knees. While I was out keeping the lights on, she was out spending that stability like it was nothing. The biggest shift wasn't divorcing her or watching Travis go down. It was realizing I didn't have to be the doormat in my own life anymore. I took my life back. If you're feeling that twinge in your gut listening to this, pay attention to it. Don't wait until your whole world cracks open to finally choose yourself. Life didn't magically turn perfect after all of that. It just moved on. Word came down that Travis took the deal. 5 years in federal prison, maybe more if the judge wakes up in a bad mood. Most of what he thought he owned now has a government sticker on it. Lauren moved back in with her parents on the other side of town. Last I heard, she was working 2 jobs trying to claw her way out of the financial crater she helped create. I don't gloat about it, I just let it be hers to carry. Marianne packed up and left Springfield altogether. New state, new school, new start where people don't look at her and see his mess first. As for me, I signed a new contract to renovate an old farmhouse on the edge of town. Big job, steady work, the kind of project that keeps a man's hands busy and his mind clear. Some mornings I drive out there before sunrise, watch the light hit the barns and rooftops, this little town waking up again. We all start over, some with scars, some with spines. If you're lucky, you learn how to live with both. So that's how we got from one woman screaming in my dining room to her going quiet when she realized the woman at my table was her own sister. I started with a gut feeling and a microwave dinner. I ended with photos on a table, a federal case on the news, and a divorce stamp that said, "Finalized." In between was the part nobody talks about, the slow dying of trust, the late nights convincing yourself you're crazy, the moment you finally decide you're done being the guy everyone wipes their feet on. Every man needs a few simple things: to feel safe in his own home, to know his name still means something, and to be loved in a way that doesn't make him doubt his own sanity. I didn't get those back by saving her. I got them back by drawing a line and refusing to cross it for anyone, even someone I once loved. So I'll leave you with this. If you were me, would you save her or save your self-respect? Tell me in the comments. And if this story hit something in your gut, hit subscribe and stick around. You're not the only one waking up.